Have you ever actually sat down and run the numbers on what your life looks like across those three retirement ages? Not the general sense of it, but the specific mathematics. Here is the number that stopped me. Retiring 30 years earlier, at 35 instead of 65, gives you 30 additional years of free time. But reaching that goal requires a monthly savings rate more than 16 times higher than retiring at 65 requires. Not twice as high. 16 times. And underneath that gap is a mechanism most people have never seen mapped clearly, a relationship between time, compounding, and the cost of freedom that plays out very differently depending on when you plan to leave. By the end of this video, I want to show you exactly what each scenario costs in real numbers. For a long time, I thought about retirement age the way most people do, as a spectrum of options sitting at different points on a timeline. Each one essentially the same equation running at a different speed. Retire earlier, need more money, work harder to accumulate it. Retire later, need less. The path is more manageable. I thought the relationship between those variables was roughly proportional, but when I actually ran all three scenarios side by side, same household income, same spending level, same investment return assumption, same starting age, the results were not proportional at all. The differences in required monthly savings rates, in portfolio targets, and in available compounding time were dramatically uneven in ways that completely changed how I understood the retirement question. That unevenness is what I want to show you side by side on one screen. I spend way too much time turning financial systems into data you can actually see. If what I am sharing today is useful to you, hit subscribe. It helps more than you know. Before any numbers, let me give you the clearest possible picture of what makes the three scenarios so different from each other. Think about three different travelers heading to the same destination on foot. The first traveler departs at dawn with the full day ahead. They can move at a comfortable pace, stop to rest, correct early mistakes without consequence. The second traveler departs at noon, half the day gone. Pace must be steady and consistent. The third traveler departs in the late afternoon with only a few hours of daylight remaining. All three can reach the destination, but the third traveler is under time pressure the first one simply does not experience. They must cover far more ground per hour to arrive before dark. Saving for retirement works exactly this way. The destination is available from all three starting positions, but the pace required to reach it from 13 years out is a fundamentally different physical experience from the pace required with 43 years ahead of you. Assuming a life expectancy of 90 years, the three retirement ages produce the following retirement periods. Retiring at 35 means 55 years of retirement. Retiring at 45 means 45 years. Retiring at 65 means 25 years. The first bar is more than twice the height of the third. For a household spending $50,000 per year, each scenario requires a different portfolio based on the withdrawal rate appropriate for its timeline. The 65 scenario, approximately $1,250,000. The 45 scenario, approximately $1,425,000. The 35 scenario, approximately $1,650,000. Those portfolio gaps are considerably smaller than most people expect. What I found when I looked at the monthly savings required to actually build each of those portfolios within each timeline is the part that was genuinely surprising. The first mechanism explains why the monthly savings figures are so much more divergent than the portfolio targets. I call it the compounding runway gap, the number of years your savings have to compound before you need them. Think about a plane on a runway. A long runway allows the aircraft to accelerate gradually, reaching takeoff speed with the engines at a manageable setting. A short runway requires maximum engine output from the very first meter. Both planes reach takeoff speed. The short runway plane simply has to work far harder to achieve the same result. Retiring at 65, starting to save at 22, gives the portfolio 43 years of compounding runway. Retiring at 45 gives it 23 years. Retiring at 35 gives it only 13 years. At $1,000 per month, invested at 7% annually, The 65 scenario produces approximately $3,200,000. The 45 scenario produces approximately $675,000. The 35 scenario produces approximately $252,000. Same monthly contribution, same return rate. The compounding runway is the single variable that creates the entire difference. The second mechanism is the monthly savings rate required to reach each target portfolio, and this is where the full picture finally clicks. Think about filling 3 containers with water using a hand pump. The containers are different sizes, but not dramatically so. The critical difference is time. 43 years to fill the first, 23 the second, 13 the third. The amount of effort required per hour increases sharply as the filling window narrows. To accumulate $1,250,000 in 43 years at 7%, the required monthly savings is approximately $390. To accumulate $1,425,000 in 23 years, approximately $2,080. To accumulate $1,650,000 in 13 years, approximately $6,580. If this kind of data-grounded financial picture is useful to you, subscribe to this channel. The gap between $390 per month and $6,580 per month is the compounding runway gap, expressed as a monthly obligation. That is approximately 16.9 times higher, roughly 17 times more per month, to buy 30 additional years of freedom. That ratio is what the full comparison table confirms. Retirement at 35, 55 years of retirement, $1,650,000 required, $6,580 monthly over 13 years. Approximately $1,025,000 contributed. Retirement at 45. 45 years, $1,425,000, $2,080 monthly over 23 years. Approximately $578,000 contributed. Retirement at 65. 25 years, $1,250,000, $390 monthly over 43 years. Approximately $201,000 contributed. The 35 scenario costs 17 times more per month, but delivers 30 more years of free time than the 65 scenario. Here are the 3 things I now understand from running this comparison. First, the dramatic differences between the scenarios lie entirely in the monthly savings rates, not in the size of the destination. The compounding runway shortens non-linearly as the retirement age moves earlier, and the monthly savings rate required to compensate grows at the same non-linear pace. Second, the monthly savings figure for the 35 scenario, $6,580, places it outside the practical reach of most households without unusually high income or unusually low spending, or both at the same time. Knowing that specifically, rather than in the abstract, is the difference between an honest plan and a hopeful one. Third, the 45 scenario at $2,080 per month, challenging but achievable for a motivated household, delivers 45 years of retirement while remaining mathematically accessible, without an extraordinary income. Here is the direct answer this video promised. 35 gives you 55 years of free time and costs $6,580 per month to build in 13 years. 45 gives you 45 years and costs $2,080 per month over 23 years. 65 gives you 25 years and costs $390 per month over 43 years. All 3 paths are real. All 3 are mathematically achievable under the right conditions. The right retirement age is not a financial question alone. It is a question about the monthly savings rate your income can actually sustain over the relevant timeline. 3 retirement ages, 3 monthly costs, 3 amounts of free time, all in the same chart, in the same currency, at the same time. That precision is what makes the decision yours to make rather than a hope to carry indefinitely. Every year of early retirement has a monthly price, and knowing that price is the only honest starting point for deciding whether the timeline you want is the one your savings rate can actually build.